If you have hooded eyes or that loose eyelid skin that hangs over your eye, creating that droopy downturn look, some gals have more saggy eyelid skin than others, but either way, I want to show you this super easy hooded eye makeup trick. First, I always prime my eyelids to hold the makeup in place, and this peachy tint helps hide any discoloration. Next, this game-changing coffee eye lift serum, which is more of a fast-absorbing lightweight oil, is going to be applied now to my under eyes, but I'm going to show you in a few moments why this is so magical. Okay, very important. Do not do this. Don't lift until when doing this trick. Look straight in the mirror. Do you see how hooded eyes, the crease is slightly hidden, and with some, the crease is all the way hidden under that loose skin? So we will not be putting our eyeshadow inside that crease. We're going to make our own crease just above the fold and slightly below our brow. And to do this trick, you do not even need to know how to do makeup. If you can draw a C shape, you can do eyeshadow on hooded eyes. Let's start with a medium toned eyeshadow of your choice with a small, not a big fluffy, but a small brush, and gently draw the C shape starting at the center of the lower lash line and create that letter C. And with loose skin, you might have to press or pat versus rub or swipe. It's a wonky letter C, but this is the easiest trick to help guide you. And this is the small brush I just used, and this is the next brush I'm going to use. These are perfect brushes if you struggle with blending because they just magically blend for you. Now I'm just using this fluffy, clean brush to soften the edges some more. Another tip, start with a light application of shadows until you get the hang of it, but feel free to use purples, blues, pinks, even darker shades, whatever you love for your eyes. And the more you blend and soften the edges, honestly, you're going to be surprised at how pretty it will look. I want to zoom out just for a quick second to show you the difference already of the eye that I've already started, how it has more dimension versus the undone eye kind of looks more puffy and pushed forward. What a difference. At this point, you could just slap on some mascara and be done if you just like to lightly contour your hooded eyes, but I want to show you how I like to finish this look. So I'm just going to go back in with that same small brush, the same shade of eyeshadow, and now I'm going to draw a little C shape to add even more dimension. So make sure you get in that little fold right at the outer lower edge of the eye. And again, you might have to kind of pat, pat, pat versus rub and pull because with hooded eyes, that loose skin kind of moves all around. So oftentimes I like to just kind of pat or dab the eyeshadow on. And you know, there's nothing wrong with hooded eyes. I was actually born with hooded eyes, and I know some people think it's a negative thing. I know we can get them as we age, but ladies, you're beautiful just the way you are. If you want to add a little makeup to accentuate your beautiful eyes, then that's what this little hack is going to teach you. Every time I go in with the small brush with the eyeshadow, I go back in with the fluffy brush to blend it. And now I'm going to take this really pretty shimmer shade. You can use whatever shade you want, but I only want to get it right on that mobile lid. I don't want to put it up high or in the crease because then that lighter shade would make the eye look pushed forward like the undone eye. So I really just want to put that lighter shadow on the actual lid itself, right below where my natural crease is. I want to show you how pretty these eyeshadows are, by the way. This is a Morphe eyeshadow palette. I haven't bought a Morphe palette in years, and I saw this and thought these shades were gorgeous, and let me tell you, these are affordable and they do not disappoint. They perform like high end. Now, use whatever shade you want, but I don't want my lid super, super shiny and sparkly, so I add a little bit of that matte kind of peachy shade. Do you see the difference? How this eye on the left side of the screen, it just has more dimension, and the eye on the right side is puffy. Now, I rarely say you must buy something, but seriously, if you have hooded eyes and it's in your budget, you need this little teeny detailed brush if you have hooded eyes. The one on the right, that's what a normal brush would look like, but this little small detail brush on the left is going to be a game changer for hooded eyes. With hooded eyes, we have very limited precious eyelid space. And I want to do an eyeliner, but I'm going to do it with eyeshadow. So I'm not going to put it up high. I'm going to just basically put it in between each eyelash and then just go along the lash line with a slight lift. This is going to create a really pretty sort of winged look. I'm going to go on the bottom lash line, not dipping back in, just whatever's left over on the brush. And again, enhance in between those lashes and get that itty bitty little corner. Don't leave that blank space. And that's going to create this really pretty lift to the eyes. And then I'll take that same brush that I used before that had that brown shade, and I'm just going to kind of diffuse this shade. This shade that I use for eyeliner is kind of like a bluish purpley. It's really, really pretty. Now I want to add a little bit more of a wing. You don't have to do this, but this is more of a mature looking wing, I would say, not, you know, something that I would do when I was in my 20s. And then I'm about to blend this out again. Everything's just going to be very diffused and soft, but it's going to have that dimension. Again, use whatever shade you love, but this is the shade I chose in this really pretty palette. Now I'm going to create a beautiful lift with my mascara. Not only is this a peptide lengthening good for you lashes mascara, but over time this will help grow your lashes. That coffee eye lift serum we put on is because we're about to do our concealer, and we're not going to swipe it all over our face like we did in our 20s. I like to put a little bit on the back of my hand, use a little brush, and then I'm going to gently pat it on. I'm not adding a ton of product because, you know, I'm 52, I'm almost 53. We don't want to have creases and wrinkles and all of that under our eyes and have our product making it look worse. And now I'm just going to kind of create that beautiful lift and gently swiping up. And then I just kind of pat it with my finger or a sponge. And do you see how now our eye looks lifted? Now, I don't like to pull that much, but I just want to show you the difference. Look at the difference with a done eye versus an undone eye. We still have our hooded eyes, but the eye on the left, of course, it has a little bit more dimension. It's softer, it's pretty. The eye on the other side that's undone, there's nothing wrong with it, but it still looks a little pushed forward, and of course, it's obviously more hooded. If you can draw the letter C, you can easily do this little eyeshadow trick.